The kickstand deadlift is a really good starting point to develop a hip hinge type of pattern. It's a safe exercise to do, and it's one that you can still add a lot of weight to and a little bit of variation to make it a very challenging exercise at the same time. So if you're unfamiliar with this exercise, just start with this first progression. So what you're going to do is the side that's going to be working, you're going to put that leg forward. The back leg is a kickstand, hence its name. And you're going to put the foot just diagonally back to the side, and you're going to come up onto the toe on that foot. So majority of your weight is going to be in this lead leg. So for a deadlift, it's a hip hinge, meaning that the hip is the primary driver of the motion. And the goal is, as the hip is being sent backwards, we're trying to create tension through these muscles as they lengthen. And these are the target muscles that we're trying to work out. And then once you maximize that tension, you're gonna then use that tension you built up. That's the target for trying to squeeze and bring yourself back to the starting point. And then you send your hip back down, get to that maximal tension point, and then come all the way back up. Now, a couple little nuances with that. I say maximal tension or develop maximal tension because once you reach that point, you don't have to go any further than that. But what you'll see a lot of when people are doing this type of exercise is they'll go past that point and then they start bending through their backs because they're trying to get as low as possible, but there's really no reason to do that and may lead to a back injury or some other tweak through the lower back or the hip. So stop when you feel that maximal tension point. The other thing that tends to happen is as people are sending the hip back, that they're rotating their hips like this because of muscle imbalance. Oftentimes when those hip rotators are too tight, so when you're trying to go through the range of motion, that they're just pulling and opening up that stance, or it's just you're not used to that exercise and you just have to maintain proper technique. So one of the cues that I want you to think about is your pelvis should be nice and neutral position, and it should be square to the wall in front of you when you start. And as you go through the motion, it's going to end up square to the ground in front of you. So as you do it, going down, 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 you should feel that nice tension. Without any weight, and if you're unsure if you're keeping your pelvis in good alignment, pause here and try just tilting your pelvis side to side like that and see if you can increase the tension on the working leg. So from here, if I just rotate a little bit, I developed a little bit more tension. So I'm going to keep my pelvis there as I come up now and use that tension to squeeze, come up back to the top. And I'm going to keep the pelvis in that position now. So now I'm locked in and it feels really productive. Okay? So those are some cues to work through. The final thing, if you're unfamiliar with a hip hinge pattern and you find that you're really bending through your knee, so that's going to be more of a squat pattern. Squat is more bend at the knee and the hip when you're lowering the body. So this is when a chair comes in handy, to where you can put the chair right in front of your knee. So maybe there's a centimeter in front of the shin. You're going to go into this position again to start. Square pelvis to the wall in front of you, and you're going to sit back. If you bend your knee too much, you're going to hit the chair. So it's going to train you to really focus on sending the hip back correctly. Okay, now that you work through that entire tutorial, the ways to progress it is you can use some weight. So if you hold the weight in the opposite arm of the working leg, it can activate a bit more into the hips. If you hold on to 2 dumbbells, it's just going to maximize the lift so you get more strength training out of this movement. So first part is work through those cues and make sure you're doing the drills correctly. And then go to the single dumbbell version, and then to maximize the strength with it, you can then hold on to 2 dumbbells, 2 kettlebells when you're doing the kickstand deadlift.